Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead. Okay, so this is going to be from the 27th to around the 4th of February 2025. If you want to book the 12 rules for life, it is for Geminis for 12 rules for 2025, not life. But everyone who's booked it have said they're listening to it again and again, and it's really helping them. It's on the website. You've got the 7 archangels, you've got the 6-month deal, you've got 12-month, you've got everything. You can book a face-to-face. There's 2 slots for the deep coaching, so check it all out. Okay, so like the video and comment. We're going to be doing just 2 parts for Gemini, so watch this part, and if I feel like there's anything else to say, I'll do a second part. Okay, so there's big messages coming through for Gemini this week, and I think it's just like an old self is over, an old life is over. So the strength card dropped out. Okay, so this is about, some of you are just done. You know, there's just a life that you're living in, a version you're living in, people that you're around, and you just feel pissed off, triggered, frustrated. Some of you just feel like you give and give of yourself, and like people just take the piss. So what I'm going to say for Geminis is there is a sense here that the old self must die. You must recreate yourself. Some of you have been through a lot. Some of you have seen the true face of people in your life. And some of you, again, just the way you live and the kind of life you're living in, the kind of people that are around you, they're not for you. So Gemini, you can either keep beating a dead horse or you can acknowledge this reality. The biggest challenge for Gemini is having the energy to, because there's so much nervous energy. Some of you are battling your own demons, you're battling your own dark side. Some of you are being attacked relentlessly by the dark. And some of you are being attacked relentlessly by people in your life. So a big message that was coming through is what the people in your life want to do is tell you that you don't really add anything to them. But they also don't want to let you go either, because they know that that's a lie. So some of you, there's kind of this sense of other people's shadow, darkness, but some of you are in a frequency that's a very low frequency, and it's full of just frustrated people, triggered people, angry people, weird people. Anyone noticed? Fucking hell, it's like Psych Unit 101 out here on a day-to-day basis. So anyway, but I feel like Geminis have been feeding this darkness, or you've been feeding your shadow. But a big message for Gemini is you're not going to be happy and you're not going to be healthy until you change a version of yourself, until you change your life. Because some of you is like, and I know the same for me in ways, you're showing up and you're like, what am I even doing? You know, like just everything is boring. Yeah, you're just like, fucking hell, you know. So it's like Geminis need freshness and they need change, but I do think you need to be honest that with any birth comes a death. And I think it's also the time to not give a fuck. Okay, if you know it's time to let people go, Gemini. Like, some of them are just not worthy of you. Some of them are just never going to change. They're going to be at the bottom till death. Let them go, right? And some of you, it's about yourselves. It's like you're going to have to get up and fight, no matter who's betrayed you, no matter who's failed you, no matter how much you've gave to a relationship or a career. It doesn't matter. It's a demonic kingdom out here, and you've just got to take your losses, take your betrayals, and find all the energy you've got to recreate yourself, to get away from these people, to build this new version. It's just the facts. It's not about justice out here. Many good people are at the bottom. It's about if you're a dog and you're a rat, and you know, you'll play the game, and that's the facts, right? Okay, and not all people who sit at the top are people who did that. It's just, it is life. It's just, it is what it is. So Geminis need to think this week about, okay, do I want to keep fighting this darkness? Do I want to keep being around this version of me and these people? Or do I really want to make changes? The Hangman. So someone feels like they make a lot of sacrifices, but again, the Hangman is someone who feels chained up. So they feel like powerless to change a situation that they're in. But it's not true. It is going to take a fight, though. That is what I'm going to say to Geminis, like, because there's so much energy, there's so much healing, there's so much you have to face. So I think it's about doing things one step at a time. And the 12 rules for Gemini will tell you about 12 key messages that you need to know for 2025 to break out of this cycle. But yeah, some of you, the Hangman is like just feeling chained, just feeling like you're damned if you don't, restricted. This matrix is getting, I can't even tell you the shame. I can't tell you the shame of the people I'm watching. I can't tell you the shame of the things that people are doing. One thing I've learned about NPCs is there's no level that they won't go to. There's no level that they won't stoop to. It's some level of crazy. But again, it's all examples. But I do think it's a week to focus on you, Gemini, and forget about dickheads and like be like, okay, listen, I ain't got energy for anger. I ain't got energy for resentment. I ain't got energy to be playing with teenagers who call themselves grown adults. I've only got energy for me. Any cunt who's around you, they don't matter, Gemini. They're feeding off your attention. They're leeching. You know what I mean? Go and die in a hole or something, we don't care. We don't care. Three of Swords. Now again, some of yours, your anger's coming from deep pain. It's coming from like that. But like I said, it is a time to, when it comes to betrayals and all that's been done, you haven't got energy or time to brood. I think for some of you Gemini women, you've got a lot of stuff in your sacral. There's a lot of emotion coming up, and again, it's coming from your womb, it's coming from these betrayals, it's coming from everything you've give. Some of you, it's deep trauma and losses and stuff like that. But you just need to be strong. That's the message for some Geminis. Like, you need to be strong and you need to fight for yourself. And you need to know that the current reality you're in is not life. It's just one version. It's just a period of time in your life. It's not forever. Like, some of you are in some kind of like dark tunnel. You're in some kind of storm. And you're like, fuck, is this storm ever going to end? And it's like, yes, but you're going to have to help yourself, and you're going to have to be smart, and you're going to have to learn your lessons, and you're going to have to learn from your enemies and your betrayals, and you're going to have to dominate yourself. Yes, it will, but you need to help yourself. That's a big message for you this week. Again, your biggest problem for some of you is you're just feeling drained. The Four of Swords is like, some of you just haven't got the will. The Four of Swords is like someone who's took a deep beating. Something has really, really affected them. So this is a person who just like, they just feel like sunken. So it can be someone who's got a lot of blocked energy. They're very drained. They're psychologically depleted. But you just need to help yourself this week. You need to get a routine. You need to write things down. You need to think, fuck this. Like, I can't do this anymore. Some of you need to start trying new directions, because whatever this job is, whatever this money situation is, whatever this version is, it's not working, Gemini. The Ace of Swords is someone who's kind of, again, a lot of it is cognitive tiredness, physical depletion. Be careful for the Gemini women who are putting themselves in something where this masculine is just keeping you waiting. So the Hanged Man can be somebody who is just keeping you hanging about. They're not investing. Some of years it's all about yourself. You're hanging about, you're wasting time, you're not sleeping properly, you're not disciplining yourself. And the hardest thing in the world is when you're depressed or you're stuck in something, the hardest thing to do is to pull yourself up and fight for yourself. But you've got to. When you've been hit by life, when it's fucked you, when it's betrayed you, when you've given everything, the hardest thing is to get up and keep fighting. But get up and keep fighting. And I think Geminis, I'm not saying like bleed your attitude all over people, but if people want it, give them it. You want it, you can have it. Come on then. You know, I think I've been saying this a lot, which is plan for peace, prepare for war. I think it's all about, you know, being as peaceful as you can. But if people want to fucking test, don't be scared to say to people, oh, you're back now? You're back now? Where was you when I was on my face? Move. Don't be scared to pull back on your time, pull back on your energy. You don't know anyone anything. Okay, Three of Swords. So again, we do have the Three of Swords again. So some of you need to be careful with stress, and you need to be careful with your heart. But some of you, something has really, really broken your heart. There's been some kind of loss. There's been some kind of betrayal. But some of you are also in some kind of job. And we'll look at this in the second part. But you're in some kind of job. You're in some kind of situation, and it's just not good. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your physical health. It's not good for your cardiovascular. Some years it could be the way you're living. Some years are very sedentary. You're not looking after yourself. I think Geminis need to pull it back together. That's the message this week. Yet the Fool. Some of you are scared to take risks because, again, you've took risks and it's really led nowhere for some of you. But again, it's time to take risks, okay? You need freshness. The Fool is also somebody who's going outside. Like, it's somebody who's going outside in the fresh air. It's somebody who is trying new things, you know, using their energy. You need to try new things, drop the weight, drop people who just feel like a burden. Stop doing things that are pulling you down. But yeah, some of you need to try fresh because like I said, I just really feel like for Geminis, because we keep speaking the same messages, but I just think with Geminis, another message is trauma bonding. So I think some of the people and the environments and the jobs that you're bringing in, it's a form of, if you're working in a matrix job and it's killing you, it's all about a poverty mindset, this idea that you have to go, and that, you know, it's a fear-based mindset. Same as love. So for Geminis, the men came up reversed, okay? For the Gemini man, you came up as the Emperor reversed, and you also came up as the King of Pentacles reversed. So I do think for some of you Gemini men, your money is not good. You might be stuck in a dead-end job. The Emperor reverse would be somebody who's angry, frustrated, might be leaning on addictions. So I know that Gemini men always comment and they're like, Elisa, you know, there's men here as well. Okay, so I'm talking to you right now, for some of you Gemini men. But there's also, I don't think with Geminis, I think Geminis have meant well. You know, you've invested in people with a pure heart, you've been genuine, okay? But I think, again, the lesson has been, not everyone, just because you're genuine doesn't mean people are going to be genuine back. So Geminis have had a lot of leeches, a lot of takers, a lot of failed relationships, and I do think it's trauma bonding. And just the bottom, like the bottom is just fronting. It's fronting all day. And that's the facts. And the bottom have nothing, so all they think about is what they can get. Right? So if you think of a man, if you Gemini women want an emperor, but if you look at a man and every day he shows up and he's lazy and he doesn't do nothing and he's got no goals and he's got no ambition and he doesn't go to the gym, why would he invest in you when he's not even loving himself enough to invest in himself? Gemini's out here asking people for respect who don't respect themselves. You're asking people to support your dreams who don't support their own. So I feel like, and again, honestly, it took me a long time to see this, and I'm not anti-hate or nothing, but I've watched this bottom and that attitude, the way they walk around, just the level of arrogance, it's shameful. It's honestly shameful. Like, just the way they walk around, the haughtiness, they all think the big celebrities, like they've all got deep issues at this point. Like, honestly, Gemini, get away from it. Stay the fuck away from things that don't represent you. Of course, show respect because everybody's in a different level. Everybody's going through their own demons, but also know who the fuck to stay away from. People are fuck. Okay? Now, some of yous might be feeling like that, quite dark, quite triggered. So again, you can either be that version, you can drop that low, or you can pull your shit together and say, no, I know there's a better life for me, a better version, but at the end of the day, if I want it, I'm going to have to earn it. Okay, some of you, I think Gemini's like, you need to heal. That's a strong message here. Like, some of you are trauma bonding. You're making choices from trauma. You're not making them from your higher self. Okay, the Ace of Swords. Some of you are not being honest with yourself. And I'm also just getting someone who's tired and depleted. Now, for the Gemini woman, multiple men came up reverse. Some of you are dealing with a fire sign, some of you are dealing with an earth sign, some of you are living in fantasy, you're living in lies when it comes to this person. This guy is a fuckboy, it's a situationship. Some of you are just dealing with a masculine who's never going to get it together. Excuse me, some of you are dealing with a King of Pentacles reversed who's not going to invest in you. You need to let it go. Half of the win is knowing what to fight for and knowing what to let go of. Because another message that was coming up strongly for Gemini is, you can fight all you want, but if you're rowing in the wrong boat, you're never going to win. It's a matrix job. You're never going to win. If you want a deep, profound relationship with a person who's scared to be vulnerable, how's it ever going to work? So a lot of Geminis need to look at, honestly, some of you are talking out your ass. You're not doing no healing. You're an absolute mess. You're not utilising your time. There's no discipline. You keep focusing on the dark, so you keep bringing in the dark, so the dark's leeching off you. It's trying to intimidate you. Whereas all you have to do with the dark is be aware it's there. If it moves, act. I've said this to you. Geminis have got a really, really psychotic side, okay? But your job this week is to focus on the light, to focus on discipline, to take care of business. So that's another message I just there for all of yous. Some of yous are letting yourself go. Some of yous have got debt. Some of yous are backed against the wall. Fighting it is not going to get you out. working with what you're feeling, the emotion, the anger. If it's debt, contacting people, seeing what can be done so you can actually deal with this. Because with the Ten of Wands reverse, when you deal with your problems instead of ignoring them, it's like a big weight being lifted. And I'm also getting that for the Gemini man, there's something around ego, putting on a front. It could be addictions, it could be drinking too much. That's what the Emperor reversed is, with the King of Pentacles reversed is. So Gemini is being told that the life you're in is temporary, but if you want this new version, if you want this new life, if you truly say what you mean and mean what you say, and you're not just fronting, you'll get it. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant is all about connecting to God. So some of you are being tested. I do think that some Geminis have lost, like you've been betrayed at the highest level. It is injustice. But again, that's being connected to God. For those who are being relentlessly attacked by the devil, you can't fight the devil. You're a mere mortal, but God can. So some of you need to really, really be connected to God. But I just think some Geminis, like you're watching the wrong things, you're feeding yourself with the wrong foods, you're consuming the wrong people. You know, some of you just sit there like, why me? Like, why am I? Because you keep feeding it, Gemini. There's many realities to live. There's many people to be around. There's many people to date, okay? So some Geminis this week, I'm telling you, you need to take ownership. You need to. But some of you are being told that with the Hierophant, some of what's being done to you has been part of your destiny. Because the Hierophant is divinity. It's religion. So it's part of our destiny. Sometimes we need certain enemies. We have certain contracts. We have certain experiences. And it's all part of shaping us. It's all part of our destiny. But you're being told that the old is coming to an end, but you've got to let go. I think with some Geminis, like you're holding on to this old version, you're holding on to this anger, you're holding on to this trauma, you're holding on to this business that's a fucking joke, you're holding on to this person that is the complete opposite of what you say you want. A lot of Geminis now just want to focus on themselves. They want to heal themselves. They want a person who brings them peace, because the Magician is the cup that's divinely yours. When something is divinely yours, you don't have to compete for it. You don't have to bend over backwards for it, you know? So the Magician is all about connecting with your heart space, getting out of your mind. But some of you are being told that until you're willing to let go, you're just going to keep going in a vicious circle, and then you're going to be projecting, deflecting, wasting energy, fighting for the wrong thing, okay? King of Swords. So this can also be for the Gemini man. Okay, but the Hierophant is all about discipline. This can be building money in a bank. This is about dealing with government. Obviously, it's tax season, and that's the message here. This is the system. Okay, so this is dealing with government. It's dealing with banks. It's dealing with official legality, all this type of stuff. But you're being told that you can do it. The Hierophant is also building your own business. You know, doing things you're proud of. But I think with Geminis, like, some of years with the Emperor reversed, with the King of Pentacles reversed, you're holding on to people who are dead weight. Your energy from the past is sabotaging you. You're brooding for where you are instead of fixing it. You're waiting for someone to come and save you. They don't care. They hope you drown. Okay? Do the fucking work. At this point for Gemini, it's just easier to do the work, okay? Like, but see the Eight of Pentacles, see the books. This is putting your head down, right? This is like, whether it's working on money, whether it's working on debt management, whether it's working on taxes, whether it's working on your body, whether it's working on goals, plans, whatever. This is the week to do the work. It's the week to fuck everybody. Turn off the phone. Don't let people distract you. Have you noticed that as well? You know, those people who, like, they never bother with you, and the minute you start getting focused, they come back to leech and, like, waste your time. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think it's a week for Gemini to focus on Gemini and make no apologies. I'm busy. And only give your energy and time to the people who truly, truly have been there with you through the storm. Everyone else, don't care. Queen of Cups being too sensitive, too emotional. Queen of Cups is also somebody who's became addicted to the victimhood. They've became addicted to the story. You're being told not to do that this week, you know? Because so yeah, I'm doing this in 3 parts and then put it together as a video if I can. If not, it'll just go up as 3 parts. But Gemini's, it's time to do the work. Okay. And some of you, like I said, I'm really going to be careful because some of you have been emotionally wounded. You've been deeply betrayed. What happened to you has been sheer injustice. It's been attacked by the devil. But again, you're being told by God, don't worry, because I'll rebuild you in front of the people who left you on your face. And I will rebuild you in front of the devil that tried to take you out. You have to trust me. And when you do come back to your power, but I wouldn't focus on that, Gemini. I think it's just about what makes me happy. The magician is somebody who's doing things that make them happy. It's not about proving anything to anybody else. It's not about, look at people, they're fucking disgusting. They literally just live through other people. Their life is just a front. Everything about them is fake. It's all about what they can get. Is that what you want to be? Or do you want to be somebody who's truly, genuinely living from your heart, getting up every day, doing the things that you love, being connected to people who truly love you? They're not just sitting there all the time thinking about what they can get from you. They show up when you're on your face and they show up when you're at in the mansion, you know, like, I think it's all blessings in disguises, but Geminis need to focus on healing. You need to take accountability, because I do think some Geminis are leeches. I think you're out here yourself trying to pay the bare minimum for the maximum. I think Geminis are putting their energy into things that are dark, demonic and toxic. I think some of you are feasting off your anger. I think some of you are using the world as a way to blame where you haven't done the work. Right? So let's just call a spade a spade. I do think for some Geminis, like, it's about the facts. You say you want peace, but you keep being in drama. You say you want a true divine masculine, but you keep feeding demonic masculines. You keep saying you want this life and you want this business, but you're doing none of the work. So for the Gemini man or the Gemini woman, you need to cut the shit. It's real talk now. And you're being told that this is the week. Some of you are under a lot of pressure, a lot is coming at you. And that's why they're actually saying that if you just ground yourself, if you get out your mind, a big part for Gemini is the mind. You're in the mind too much. And because you think so much, it's like the mind is overwhelming you. Connect with your heart space, trust. You know, some of you, I think I do have to say this, and I know this from your own journey, like, I think some of you are really at breaking point. Like, some of you are just like, I can't take this anymore. Like, I can't feel like this anymore. I just can't be around these people anymore. Like, I'm going to fucking lose it. Like, some of you is really, this can also be being empathic towards other people, but with boundaries, you know? So this is where you're able to see most people are actually suffering. But again, but putting strong boundaries. Just because they're suffering doesn't mean you're there to fix them. Just because they're suffering doesn't mean that they get to leech off you. No. Okay, so I think for a lot of you Geminis, but I think there's something about clearing out old sexual energy, cleaning out your energy field, getting into your meditation. Gemini needs to fall in love with life again. You need to fall, you know, like some of you is like, you really don't want this masculine. For the Gemini man, you don't want to be this version. You want money in the bank. You want to build a business. You want to be in a boss job. You want to have a boss body. Some of you, I think Gemini's biggest battle this week, see how calm I am? When am I ever this calm in a Gemini reading? Because what they're telling you is, if you're going to get this, if you're going to fix this, it is not being erratic, it is not being illogical, it is not trying to fight through it, or fight other people, or fight the devil. It's coming from a very calm place. It's the calmness, the stillness that helps you get perspective and clarity on whatever your personal situation is and deal with it. But Gemini, like I said, like I did the 12 rules for life, like some people have booked it, but a lot of you haven't. You just talk out your ass. You want something for nothing a lot. I think Gemini sit there going, oh, you know, everyone's all about themselves. It's like, look in the mirror. You might be talking about yourself a bit. So what I'm saying is, you get the resources, but Gemini can be with the 5 of Swords energy, right? So again, you don't have to do it with me, but Gemini is being told that with the 8 of Pentacles, you need to do the work. The therapy, the fitness, the money management, the debt management. You need to get in touch with your dark side. You need to look at your patterns of behaviour. If you don't, you're just going to carry on in the same way. And honestly, it's going to get worse. The 3 of Pentacles, you've got to do the work. But some of you is right, we're going to focus on the Geminis who are willing to do the work. Now, some of you, like I said, I do think this is coming from childhood. I think you've got a lot in your unconscious. I think Geminis, You try to think your way out of stuff. But again, remember what we talked about, by connecting with yourself, by listening to yourself, you'll start to see, this person is not what I want. These places, not what I want. I'm here because I'm trauma bonding with these people. I'm in this job because of poverty consciousness, because the matrix is ruling my mind and I don't even know it. I think I'm an intelligent, but actually the matrix is ruling my mind because I'm living in a poverty consciousness, working in some job that's killing me. Okay, so Gemini is by connecting with yourself and reconnecting with yourself, like so much good is going to come from this. So we do have the Six of Swords, but some of years I've got to say it, I think a strong message I'm getting for Gemini is you're addicted to pain. There's a lot of self-sabotage. You're addicted to pain. You're not doing the learning. This is it. Look at this. This is the future. You're addicted to these relationships that are an emotional roller coaster that have you up and down. Some of you have got deep fear of intimacy, so you say you want a deep, intimate connection, but you always manage to go for that guy who doesn't want to commit. So Gemini, I think there's something about the mirror exposing you. And this is not about cutting on Geminis. I love me Geminis, right? It's about, I want the best for Geminis, but I do think all of us Geminis, including myself, we keep showing up for people who aren't showing up for us. We keep giving the best to people and they just basically expect a maximum for minimum. It's an us problem. It's an us problem. And our back against the wall now and all the shit that we're in and the kind of people we've got around us, it's an us problem. And for the Geminis, that's what I'm saying, for the Geminis who are willing to own it and go, yeah, it is actually. I choose these people. I choose to sacrifice my health for this job. I choose to accept this standard. I choose to accept this salary. For the Geminis who are willing to kind of go to war with themselves, but in a peaceful way. And also by looking and saying, okay, why do I choose these people? Why do I think people should get this off me for this amount of money? By Geminis who do it from a calm place rather than an angry place, there's going to be so much progress. And you're going to learn that actually I can move forward in relative peace and achieve what I want. I don't have to explain myself to you. If I don't want to speak to you, I'm not speaking to you. Okay? I don't have to negotiate with you. I think Geminis have been negotiating too much in their own mind, which is sending them insane. And they've also been negotiating with people too much. It's like, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to make a big drama. You can simply decide within yourself, enough is enough. And trust me, a lot of your problems are going to fall away. I do think that this week, it's a week for Gemini to focus on Gemini. That is the message. Just focus on you. If you're single, now's not the time to look for love. Because deep in the core of your being, you're just not in the place for love. Some of you are kind of in a transition right now. I think anything you would bring in would just be messy, right? So Geminis need to be honest. Like, think about the frequency that you're sending out there, the energy that you're sending out there, your behaviour, what you're in, because that's going to be the truth as to what you bring in. So some of you know that it's a good time to just be on your own. You might be lonely, you might be vulnerable, but trust me now, now's not the good time to try and find a relationship to fill the void. Okay, for the Gemini man, I think you need to pull back. I think you need to start getting into your fitness. You need to start getting into your money. You need to start making yourself into a gangster. You need to start making yourself into a G. Okay, some Geminis, until you let this masculine go, whoever he is, you're just going to keep being burnt out. You're going to keep lying to yourself. You're going to keep creating some illusion about the future for you and him. That's not coming. So I guess this week belongs to Geminis who are willing to put their head down with the Eight of Pentacles. They're dealing with the hard stuff. They're dealing with the stuff they've been avoiding. They're focused on themselves. Don't know ya, don't owe ya. Say what you want, do what you want. Most of you are tramps with big mouths. Most of you are fronting. And that's it. Okay, but also showing empathy and being respectful and minding your business and being as decent as you can and not sending out dark energy and focusing on yourself is a good one. 10 of Wands. Some of you, there might be a lot of evil eye. So so what I'm getting here is in the field there could be just like a lot of, but maybe it's because people aren't able to control you. So I do think for some of you Geminis, you've already been doing this work. You've already been pulling back. And maybe people who used to have access to you and they kind of took you for granted, they don't anymore. And this could be, they could be sending you the evil eye because basically you're not basically jumping every time that they say. You're not giving them what they want, but I wouldn't care. The more tuned you are in to yourself, the more you won't even notice this because you'll be so tuned into you and your energy and your journey, and you'll be so busy doing what you're doing. But yes, I do get that a lot of Gemini's energy is weighed down, and I think it is people around you or people who you've pushed out of your life who are sending